wanted to talk to you today about how you carry your net, especially if you wear a hip pack or a sling pack. A lot of hip packs now, and some sling packs, even backpacks, come with this nice slot. Allows you to carry the net on your back, keep it out of the way. That's great. And a lot of people now are using these nets with a mid-length handle. Now, we're not talking about these crazy boat nets with the 3-foot handle that if you put it in the slot, it bangs you in your calves as you're walking along. No, we're talking about a mid-length net, about 32 inches. And you wouldn't think that 3.5 inches, that extra 3.5 inches would make a lot of difference, but it really does, especially with a lot of us going to fishing longer rods and longer leaders. Now, they can be a little bit unwieldy to get in and out of the slot on the hip pack. Not too terrible. Shorter handle nets are much easier, but they don't stay in the slot as securely as these nets with the longer handles do. So my issue with using a hip pack in the slot and the mid-length net, or the mid-length handle, is if I am fishing and I hook a fish and I need the net, first thing I've got to do is reach around, grab that net, and then do that. Flip that net and catch it. Now, I don't use a lanyard or zinger or anything because when I put it in the slot, it tends to get all fouled up. So when I do that flip, if I miss that catch, that net's just gone. So that's the first problem. Second problem is if I'm fighting the fish and I go to net him and he sees the net, decides to go for a run or just decides to go on another run, whatever, well, now I need both hands to fight the fish, but I've got this net that's not attached to me in any way, shape, or form in this hand. So what do? Well, I can put it between my legs, but if I take even one step and my leg's open, that's gone. That's just kind of awkward. And I'm sure a lot of you say, well, you just put it back in the slot. Well, yeah, you can, but that's a little inconvenient while you're trying to play a fish. And on top of everything else, trust me, as you get older, that gets less and less convenient. So what I've started doing is I now use these aluminum nets with the round handle. And I use these in conjunction with this, the OPRO's third hand rod holder. It's made to securely hold your rod so you can have both hands free to tie knots and tie on flies, whatever you need to do. And it mounts on your belt and it will rotate. So what I've found is if I rotate it back, then I can just clip the net right in there. Get back to fighting the fish. I need the net, it's just right there. Need to put it away, it's just that quick. So when I'm fishing a hole, not moving around much, I'll keep it clipped right here, ready to go. And then if I decide to hike down to another hole, move to another part of the river, go crashing through the bushes, then I'll put it down my back where it's safe and secure and out of the way. So this is the best solution I've found by far, but it does require that you use a net with a round handle, which for the most part are the aluminum nets. The carbon fiber ones tend to have rectangular handles. So we'll talk more about these aluminum nets, the round handles, and the OPRO's third rod holder when we get back in the studio. So we'll see you in the studio. Real quick, forgot to mention something about this system that might just be the best part of it. One of the issues with carrying a net in your hip pack is you can't just loosen up the belt and then rotate it around. The net gets in the way. And even if you do get it all the way around, then the net's going to be between you and your hip pack. It's just completely unusable. But if you got it clipped right here in the OPRO's holder, well, now I can get into my hip pack again. It's actually usable. How about that? All right. So anyway, we'll see you back in the studio. I wanted to demonstrate for you something that I mentioned in one of the previous video clips about not using a lanyard or a zinger with these mid-length handled nets. Like we talked about, with these longer handles, it can be real hard to get it out of the slot or your net holder because you got to kind of work your way up because you got so much handle there. It's just much easier to reach around, grab the hoop, pull it over. But if you got a lanyard on there, well, now I'm stuck with this over my shoulder. I probably got my rod over here, and now I'm trying to figure out how to get this around my head and hope it's not caught on anything else. And then let me find that. Just too much trouble. Just not worth it. So that's why I don't use lanyards or zingers with them. Most of the folks I know that use these type of nets don't use any kind of lanyard or zinger as well. Like we talked about in the first clip, if you've got a hip pack, backpack, sling pack, the Smith Creek type net holster, if you're using anything like that, anything to hold your net where you have to grab it by the hoop and pull it out, you're going to have to do that flip. Doesn't matter what type of pack you got. If you're pulling it out by the hoop, you got to do that flip. And that's a chance for you to lose your net. But with this system, just leave your net in the back until you get to where you're going to be fishing. And once you step in the hole, you know you're going to be fishing there for a while. Just pull the net out, go ahead and put it in there. And then you don't have to do that flip anymore. It's a time saver, and it might save you from dropping your net in the water and watching it head off downstream. All right, so that's the system. Now you've seen it in action. In the next video, we'll show you exactly what pieces you need to put this together. We'll show you how to rig everything up, tell you the ins and outs of using this system to make sure that you're efficient and effective when you're out on the river, so you spend less time fumbling with your net and more time focused on the fishing. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.